Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. And today on drboycetv.com, we're going to talk about something I call the bearded baby phenomenon. The bearded baby phenomenon is where we have some parts of our culture where we believe that adult children should be living with their parents without contributing anything. Now, before you get mad, before you get offended, before you go crazy, let me just explain. And we're going to get started on drboycetv.com. So hit that thumbs up button, share, subscribe. We're going to begin right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
BoyceTV.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I want to say hi to everybody and also hello to everybody on Spotify and Apple as well. If you go to Spotify and Apple, you will find this podcast there. And also everybody on Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. And so if you want to follow me there, sorry, scratch that. I said The Real Boyce Watkins. I forgot. That page is gone. It's not The Real Boyce Watkins. They literally disappeared the whole page. That's one of the reasons why we created our own social media platform, which you can actually find at b1nation.us. b1nation.us is where intelligent Black people gather online, and we have a good time. And also, we're gathering in person this weekend at the 2023 All Black National Convention. We spent a whole year planning this. This is the largest gathering on the planet of intelligent Black people who are there solely for the purpose of building the Black community. This is where the future is being built. So if you'd like to learn more about the convention, just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. Shout out the city you're from. Also, let's do a quick audio check. Give me a quick yes in the chat. Everybody give me a yes if you can hear me, or give me a B1 or something to let me know that you see me. And so today what I wanted to talk about, as you guys give me the yes to let me know that I'm coming through all right, I want to make sure my audio is good, I want to talk about this concept that I shared not too long ago, where I was talking about something I refer to as the bearded baby. The bearded baby is, a lot of y'all know, give me a yes if you know individuals who fit the description. The bearded baby is the man who is 35 years old, who's never, ever been taught to take any responsibility. Now, the bearded baby is a person who, unfortunately, for most of their life, nobody ever taught them how to grow up, how to be a man, all right? And here's the other thing, too. We have to come up with a name for the ladies, too, because sometimes you have women that don't take responsibility as well. And I personally believe, I'm old school with it. Call me crazy, call me weird. I have no idea. But I'm going to tell you, I do believe in accountability. I believe that you should do the best you can to prepare your kids for the future. So anyway, so this bearded baby concept literally led to a stream of thoughts. And I talk about these thoughts. By the way, if you ever want to see what a bearded baby looks like, there's a depiction actually on the screen. If you're watching drboycetv.com, you can see the image of the baby. Anyway, so here's the thing. So I put up a post not too long ago just to sort of see how you guys felt about it. And on this post, I basically wrote something simple. Now, it sounds like I'm referring just to men, but I want to make 100% clear that I'm also talking about male and female. This is not just, I know that there are sensitive men who get upset when they think that you're male bashing. So this is not what that is. This is just me really talking about something that relates to an important economic concept that you may want to put in your holster to help you to succeed financially. All right. So it says here, if you are a single mother struggling to pay the rent and you have an adult child in the house with you that isn't helping, please force that bearded baby to grow the hell up. Now, again, that particular statement, it was definitely targeted in a certain direction, right? It sounds like I'm talking about a man, like, because women don't have beards. Well, now I guess men can be women and stuff, but that's not the world I grew up in. But anyway, the point is, in that comment was to say, that if you have an adult healthy male in the house, that adult healthy male should be contributing in some way. And what was interesting was that I saw mixed responses. I saw some people who said absolutely. And then I saw some people who said that's stupid, right? Some people said that's stupid. Now, I am, and now let me just say this too. Cinderella 23 Queen says your son's living with you and he has a job. So I agree. I think that that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. What I'm talking about, here's what I'm talking about. Let me just draw a picture for you. I'm talking about that person who is over the age of 18, who lives at home, who's not in school, they're not working, and they're not contributing to the household on any level. They're not even taking out the trash. They're not cleaning their room. They're not helping out their mother. They're not doing anything productive for the family. Give me a yes if you've seen this before. Give me a yes if you know what I'm talking about, right? And also, for those of you that get sensitive, don't think I'm talking about your child. I talk about this concept a lot in my new book. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. It's also going to be on Audible very soon as well. So if you want to get a copy at Amazon, Audible, or drboycebooks.com, you can. So let me explain this to you and why you're hurting yourself economically if you're not demanding that people in your family contribute if they're living under your roof. And when I say contribute, I'm talking about a lot of ways you can contribute. And I'm talking about contributing in a way where the people who are actually responsible for the finances of that house feel some relief. Right. I'm talking about contributing in a way that is significant. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I swept the floor 2 weeks ago. I'm talking about, okay, now our household is better off because you're in it, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? I need you guys to understand that. And this is something I've seen in a lot of families. I remember when I was a kid, um, I remember having relatives. I'm not gonna say their names because I got family. I don't want to hurt their feelings. But I remember seeing people that were financially struggling, right? And you would look at the household and you would see the mother there, and you would see like adult male sons in the house. And I'm not gonna lie, that was a pet peeve of mine. Even as a 9 year old, 12-year old, I didn't understand that. I said, wait a minute. So you're telling me that you can't pay the bills, but you have adults in the house who are not contributing anything to the house. Does anybody else think that's a little strange, or am I the only one? Am I the only one who thinks that this is a problem? And here's the thing: it just destroys you economically. It's an economic virus. It literally is an economic virus. I don't know exactly why this happens. I think it's because sometimes when we raise kids as babies, we see them as babies forever. Even so for some people, they look at a 38-year-old child and they still see a baby, right? And the problem with that though is that if you don't eventually sort of help that baby transition into a grown up, a grown man or grown woman, then you're going to suffer in old age. You're going to suffer big time in old age because you're going to be a senior citizen who has a healthy child who is not helping you at all, who is not able to get away to go and take you to the doctor, who's not going to be able to help you pay a bill, who's not going to be able to help you get the grass cut, who's not going to be able to help you protect you on any level. That becomes a big problem for you long term. This is a bad economic cycle. All right. So what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to sort of lay this out, and I'm going to respond to a couple of your comments that I saw, and kind of add some nuance to it. And then also I will give you some suggestions on ways this can actually help you financially. Because one of the points that I make in the book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, is that you're literally, if you have a family and the family is full of people that are not half crazy, you've got a multi-million-dollar asset that you're probably throwing into the garbage. Did you know this? Did you understand this? That your family is literally the multi-million-dollar inheritance that you completely overlooked. You literally stepped over 50 pounds of diamonds on your way to your job at McDonald's. That's what we do. That's what we do. When we don't understand family wealth, we don't understand wealth, because most wealth is family wealth. Do you understand what I'm saying? Give me a yes if you follow me. So effectively, when we're not raising the kids in a certain way, or we think that spending more time at the corporate plantation, then that's more important than spending time with our kids, or when we're not necessarily incorporating family into our long-term economic plan, you're missing a massive opportunity in many cases, because because that's not what you're trained to do. You're trained. Here's what you're trained to do. You're trained to have 5 people in the house. All 5 people scatter every morning and go work for massa. All 5 people leave to go to their separate corporate plantations. So you end up being divided, and you end up pouring your labor and your life into building institutions for other people. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is one of the reasons why the Black community has almost no institutions and the white community has them all. This is why the Black community has very few multi-million-dollar institutes and universities in businesses because you're trained to believe that my job is to go and serve somebody else's business. Tell me where I'm wrong. I saw the Black Enterprise. Love the people of Black Enterprise. I really do. And they had this summit called Black Men Excel, and I thought it was awesome. I'd love to participate or just go as an attendee. I don't even need to be a speaker. I don't care about being a speaker. But I saw a lot of Black men who had high power positions working for big white corporations. And what we will do is we will give the same credibility or same respect or have the same level of excitement about a Black man getting a high paying job with a high position at a corporation that we do for that Black man or Black woman who's actually building a business from the ground up. Now, I'm not saying that guy who's in the corporate plantation isn't working hard. I'm not saying he's not under pressure. I'm not saying he's not smart. I'm not saying he's not capable. But what I am saying is that let me know if you understand what I'm saying. He can't pass that job down to his child. You can't hire anybody in your community without getting permission from your boss. They can fire you tomorrow and replace you within a week. And none of that company, none of that corporation is going to go into your inheritance, perhaps with the exception of the fact that you may own some shares of stock. That is legitimate ownership to some extent, but it's not the kind of ownership that I can actually move the needle in terms of economic success for the masses in Black America. So here's the problem, and I'm going to go back to the whole concept of children in the house. The problem that you have is that, and this is where I hope Black Enterprise will consider, is that when you have a lot of Black people that say, I'm mentoring Black people by teaching them how to go get a job like me or how to work for a corporation like me, you're what you've done is you created a model, an economic model that fails to scale. Do you follow me? It's an economic model that does not scale because white people will never hire all the Black people in America. White people don't have the desire. I'm not saying white people are bad. This is where people get mad at me. This is probably why I got banned on Facebook, because I say white people, and you're not allowed to say that, apparently. I'm not allowed to talk about racism in an honest way, I guess. I have no idea, but it's okay. They took my 400,000 on Instagram, but I got 3-4 million in other places. So we were prepared for that. But here's the thing. That model doesn't scale because you can't assume if I have this fancy job, how many Black people can I really truly hire? Can I hire 10,000? 20,000? Because that's what it's going to take. That's what's 5,000 at a time, 1,000 at a time. Or can I just like mentor one or two, young people, maybe bring in five Black interns? And I feel like I've really done something big for the community, when the reality is I think that you've sold yourself short. And the reality is I think you could have done a whole lot more if you were running a corporation that could hire 300 or 400 people at a time. Do you understand? Or at least a couple dozen at a time. Okay. All right. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name's Dr. Boyce Watkins. All my books are at drboycebooks.com. You can get autographed copies and all that stuff. We also have financial flashcards for children if you want to teach your kids about wealth. My PhD is in finance, and in the Black Business School, we teach kids. And we actually have an exciting addition to the faculty very soon. I'm not going to announce it yet because we have to get the contracts done. But we have a world-class faculty. We have the first ever Black financial therapy department that my wife runs. So she's bringing in a lot of her best therapist friends into the Black Business School to help us figure out what the psychological barriers to building Black wealth happen to be. And then also this week, you guys know we have the All Black National Convention, which is happening in Atlanta, October 20th through the 22nd. So if you'd like to join us at the Marriott in Atlanta, just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. Okay, so let's dig back into this topic of why having adult kids in the house, if they're not contributing, is costing you so much of your wealth. Basically, kids in the house is not a bad thing. I want to make this clear. I'm not a person who says, like my dad did. My dad, I don't know if anybody else grew up with a dad like this. I had a father that said, you got 6 months, boy. You either get a job, go to college, or go to the military, but you got to get out of here, right? I had an old school father who kind of did that with me, and I thought that was the most appropriate model based on what he knew. Right? The model was you're going to be a man regardless, and I was appreciative long term. I didn't like it at first, but I was appreciative long term because I was able to get my own space, become my own man. I never liked people telling me what to do, even my parents. I definitely ain't letting racist white folks tell me what to do, and I don't let idiot Black people tell me what to do. Nobody tells me what to do with it, and that's how I've been my whole life. I don't know where it came from, but it's there, right? So I thank my dad for this. It taught me how to go get things, how to go be ambitious, how to make things happen, how to be a playmaker in my own life. So I appreciated that. But here's the limitation of my father's model of pushing a child out at the age of 18. If you are, trying to run a business or trying to build something economically or build an institution, you need all the help you can get. You need all the loyal labor you can get. You need all the skilled labor you can get. So children, if they are trained appropriately, and some of you will understand this, some of you are running multi-million-dollar businesses with your kids. Children are just the best in terms of being a really loyal, highly skilled labor class because especially if you're spending time with them, coaching them constantly. If they're working with you constantly, going places with you constantly. I hired a kid one time who he knew how to fix every single thing in the house, and he was only 21 years old. And the reason he knew how to fix every single thing in the house was because his uncle had spent it was in his dad. His dad wasn't a great guy, but his uncle had taken him around with him everywhere he went. He gave him the best education that a child could get, far better than anything they get in the Chicago public school system. But this wasn't a school system. This was an education in the school of life. So now he's going to go through life. He's only 23 now. He can go through life. He can fix anything. He can get a lot of things done. He's pretty extraordinary, got extraordinary skill, more so than most of the college students that I educated. So this is the thing about education that you got to understand. Now, remember, I've taught at the University of Kentucky, Indiana University, Syracuse University, the Ohio State University. I've also taught in China and Europe and Africa and all around the world. But let me tell you this, never ever think that a college campus or the public school system is the best place for your child to get an education. Now, I believe the best place for your child to get a good education is from people that love him and people that can teach him the things that he needs to know in order to be successful. About 80% of what you learn in public school does not apply to life. Give me a yes if you understand what I'm talking about. About 80% of what you learn in public school does not apply to life. So what happens is that's another waste. You're wasting so much time learning things that are completely irrelevant. And then when the kids get out in the world, what do? They suffer. They struggle. They're not doing powernomics. They're doing strugglenomics. So effectively, if you don't learn how to rethink the model, if you don't learn how to kind of outgrow your programming, then chances are the same problems that your grandparents have are going to be your problems too. And then your children are going to inherit those problems because we're passing financial STDs down to our kids. We literally are. We're these financial STDs include things like being addicted to the corporate plantation, being addicted to the job-seeking mentality, being addicted to this idea that somehow there's no wealth in the family, so we end up leaving the family to go chase the wealth. But guess what? Think about this. I mean, how often do you go chase jobs and actually find real wealth? Seriously, some would say that the job is a little bit of a scam because think about this: you work your butt off. Where else on earth can you work that hard every day, consistently, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, and then end up with less money than you started off with? Where else can that happen? That's crazy to me. Imagine if that 8, 9, 10 hours a day was poured into your family business. Imagine if 8 to 10 hours every single day you spent time with your children, with your spouse, with yourself, and with picking up the skill and only picking up skill that was going to be relevant for what you're seeking to do. Think about how differently your outcomes would be. No, well, why don't we do that? Well, because unfortunately, again, our Black financial therapists in the Black Business School kind of highlight this issue. You're trained on instant gratification. So you're trained to chase that little paycheck that they're going to give you at the end of the week because they can pay you right away. The business might not pay you for 4 or 5 years. And the truth is that it may never pay you at all, right? This is called risk. This is a difficult thing to do. So one of the ways to help your children overcome that limitation is to train them on these ideas, delayed gratification that can be taught, but then also do things like our $5 a day investing plan in the Black Business School. So your child will have a $250,000 in wealth available that will allow them to make long-term goals instead of short-term goals. They can see the big picture instead of having to lose sight by looking at the little picture. They have big things popping and little things stopping, as the rapper T.I. likes to say. So effectively, that ability to that desire, that planning, that thought process that I'm sharing with you will put your child in a position where they can actually have a greater likelihood of success and have a better capacity to take on the risks required to develop institutions that are going to sustain them and empower them and give them opportunity. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, and I got a meeting in a couple of minutes, so I don't have a ton of time today. And by the way, I'm asking if you guys could please hit that thumbs up button. And also this podcast is on Spotify. It's also on Apple. So you can look for my name there and find it there. Also, if you want to have the $5 a day plan sent to you via text, just text the word stock to 31996. Text stock to 31996, and I'll leave the URL for the All Black National Convention up there if you want to join us either virtually or in person. It's an amazing gathering. It's a big family reunion. It's a ton of fun. Our experts will teach you better than anything you learned in college. So just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. All right, so let me read A few benefits of having a child in your household contributing on some level, either through labor or through money, preferably money, honestly, or through the family business. Those are probably the big three. Number one is that when your adult children are contributing, you have more financial stability. Generally speaking, if one person is trying to pay all the bills, that is a much less stable household than one where three or four people are paying the bills. And in fact, for young people that can't afford to buy houses, stuff like that, if you're creative, you can buy a house. Just get together with your, and it's not stop, it's stock, STOCK, stock to 31996, 31996, STOCK. I see you in there, John. Thank you, John Dawson, for sharing. I appreciate that. All right. So when you have multiple streams of income in any situation, you're always better off. And so one of the reasons that you're taking a massive risk when you go get a job is that you're leaning on one stream of income, which means that if they take that stream of income away, you're done. You're absolutely done. So financial stability starts with multiple streams. If you have multiple people in the household all bringing in income, then that reduces economic volatility. I take this from a person who spent years and years of my PhD program studying risk management from a guy named Rene Stoltz. You can look him up, Rene Stoltz, Rene Stoltz. He's one of the leading risk management experts on the planet. Number two, shared responsibilities beyond just financial contributions. Adult kids can help around the house. They can help you get things done. They can help you pick up the baby and drop off the dog and stuff like that, right? A household is meant to be run by more than one person. So when you have the breakdowns of marriages, which is a massive wealth killer, you may want to supplement some of that by having family members stay together and live in the same house. This rule of everybody having to have their own place is something that came about maybe after the Industrial Revolution, but that's not how the rest of the world lives. The rest of the world understands these things. Number three, it strengthens family bonds. This is something that gets missed in the Kool-Aid. Think about how many thousands of hours you spend with your boss that could have been spent with your kids. A lot of us don't even know our loved ones because we spend so much time at work. Like go to a family reunion or grandma's house on a Sunday and talk to that cousin that you ain't talked to in a year and a half, and then say, "Hey man, what you been up to?" And what's he gonna say? He's gonna say, "Oh, nothing, just working, nothing, working." Think about how weird that is. I used to hear that, and then when I got older, I started saying that to my friend, "Nothing, man, just working." Process that. You don't even like your job. you barely enjoy your job. You avoid it whenever you possibly can. So you're spending the majority of your life doing something that you absolutely hate, and then you wonder why you're depressed. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad, but process that. Who told you that that even makes sense? I'm spending the majority of my time doing things that's like me saying last week my wife and I went viral because somehow somebody took a comment I made and they interpreted it as me saying that my wife is unattractive. And I said, "How stupid do you think I am? What makes you think that I want to spend the rest of my life with an ugly woman?" Maybe that's what you chose to do, but that's definitely not what I chose to do. I had options. I'm not picking an ugly woman. So seriously, so spending the majority of your time at a job that you don't even like that much is like marrying the ugliest person you can find and then spending all your time with that person. You're having sex with a barracuda because somebody told you to do it. That does not make any sense. So let me keep going. I got to go for this meeting, but I'm gonna finish this point up real quick. Number four, you have opportunities to invest together as a family. You can come up with ideas together as a family. In the Black Business School, we're very family oriented. We talk about the family as a multi-million-dollar asset that you have, and then also you get to pass down culture and generational wealth. It's easier to pass the business down to the child if they understand the business and they value the business. It's easy to pass your ideas down to your child if you're spending time with them. It's easy to pass assets down to your child if they're right there with you and they understand what's going on. So I'm not anti adult kids living with their parents. I want to make that clear. What I am against, though, is when the adult child is in the house and you're treating that 28-year-old like he's a little boy. I don't think that prepares him to be anybody's husband. I think that daughter, same thing. If she hasn't learned some accountability, that's a problem. So, right. So ultimately, I think that in the quest for accountability, I think that there should be what you call reciprocity that occurs within the household. That means I hook you up, you hook me up. I take care of you, you take care of me. What does not work, let me just tell you this before I go. What does not work in an economic model long term is charity. If one person is doing everything for another person, then two things happen. One person develops a welfare mentality. They think the world owes them something. And then the other person also it gets drained. They get drained. So if there's only one giver and then one taker, Then the taker is going to also become highly dependent on the giver. So they'll never learn independence. So they're going to be weak. And the giver is going to be super strong for a while, but then eventually they're going to be drained. And a lot of you are in relationships like that. You are 100% giver and you're married or you're dating a person that is a 100% taker. That is why that economic system, that system of that relational system is not working for you. So it's not just in terms of romantic relationships. It's also true in economic relationships because connecting with somebody economically is just like making love. It's the exact same process. So if you understand love and what good, healthy love looks like, then you understand what good, healthy economics looks like. And it's important to incorporate the two. All right. So anyway, that's my 2 cents, guys. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit that thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And also, I hope you'll join us at the All Black National Convention. With the virtual passes are still on sale if you want to come virtually, but if you can come physically to Atlanta, I know you're going to love it. I guarantee it will change your life. It'll be the best conference you've ever gone to. That's my guarantee to you. All right. So feel free to go to allblacknationalconvention.com. Also, our social media platform is called B1 Nation. It's b1nation.us, aka Black Enough. So feel free to go to b1nation.us, not .com.us. You have to answer 3 questions, though, because we don't let everybody in. But once you get in, you can invite your friends and family. So feel free to go to b1nation.us. Hit that thumbs up button. I'll see you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. Love you. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.